Welcome to the American Made and Paid Show, the home of free speech and independent thought.
The big story is freedom of speech is really in trouble. The far left knows that at any time they can call for a sponsor boycott of anyone they despise.
It is right here, right now, where you'll get your weekly dose of unfiltered truth.
It's non-negotiable. Pre-existing conditions will be protected. This president has said this as a candidate.
Insight.
Very few people I know could have handled it. We can never, ever let this happen to another president again.
And information that challenges the American way of life.
Welcome, everybody, to the American Made and Paid Show. Thank you so much for coming back, checking out this show. You know what? As of the airing of this episode, Professor Dreg, I got to say, we're up to over 6,200 downloads. Over 6,000 downloads, over 40 episodes. I think that's pretty incredible, you know, which is why listeners are waiting for when we upgrade. We start doing call-ins. We can do 2-hour shows, 3-hour shows, people arguing with you on the phone. I'm really hoping that we get some, yeah, you know, like kind of like when Tom Likas, right, would say a bunch of stuff on his radio.
But go on.
Yeah, he would say a bunch of radio, and then he had dedicated segments where literally just angry female callers would call in and be like, "Why are you talking about women like this? Why are you teaching men how to pick up girls without paying?" It's just, you know, it's just typical, you know.
Tom Likas, huh?
Yeah, Tom Likas. I mean, he's old now, but back in the day, that guy was a guy to listen to. I mean, similar to all these other kind of shock jock-like radio hosts, like, you know, Michael Savage and, you know, like Michael Savage, Howard Stern. Michael Savage would be the same way. Somebody would call and be like, "How you doing, Michael? Don't ask me how I'm doing. You don't know me. I don't know
you." Your friend, yeah. See, but that's the
I love that.
You and me, dude, when I was your age, I did not care about stuff like this. I didn't. I was listening. If I was listening to talk radio, it'd be like Howard Stern, you know, or sports radio. But yeah, I had no concern about politics when I was younger.
No. I mean, like, I don't know. So I was watching, before we jump into today's topic, I want to keep it a little bit laid back, but I was watching an interview with Louis Farrakhan, again, another Farrakhan interview. And I got to say, man, I actually just like how that guy talks. Like, if he had a radio show, I mean, there's no doubt that he preaches in front of a lot of people. And no, I am not condoning or accepting or enforcing what Farrakhan talks about. But the guy sometimes brings up some good points. You know, it's just really funny because, like, you'll sit there and listen. It's like, man, this guy's charismatic. I can see why people.
Technically speaking, this actually ties into today's topic perfectly. Louis Farrakhan.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding you,
dude. I love listening. Like, when I heard that again, like that Alex Jones interview, it's just like, and he slowed Alex Jones down. He'd be like, "Mr. Jones, I am so glad we get to sit here and discuss topics that my mentor, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, would have wanted us to talk about." You know what I mean? Like, that's how he talks, and it's just like, he takes his time. That guy takes his time.
And you know, the funny thing is, like, very few guys can slow down
Alex Jones.
Yeah. Not even Joe Rogan, and because when I saw the thing with Joe Rogan and not Farrakhan, Joe Rogan with Alex Jones. And Alex Jones ran roughshod all over that program.
Went off the rails, couldn't control him. It's like, he's not the one you're interviewing. He's interviewing you. It's like he took control fast. You know?
Yeah, but that's why it's good. Oh, and do you know who was on that thing too?
Who?
Eddie Bravo.
Yeah, that's right.
And in theory, those two dudes, like, you know, are both well-trained fighters and stuff like that. But man, that dude was talking crazy.
Couldn't keep up with Alex Jones. Yeah,
I'm gonna choke you out. But anyway, so
no, it's great.
Very interesting.
Absolutely. But I did like that, you know. It's like, if I listen to enough talks of people, I start sounding like them after a while. You know, it's just like, I don't condone violence among men. We need to teach them to step up. You know?
No, but we actually spoke about that, and there is truth to that. It's like there's something about this fight culture that's not good. You know, you know, I do respect what guys like Eddie Bravo do or whatever, but at the same time, it still goes into the death culture.
Yeah.
That progressives are all about. That's not what fighting's for. Like, in theory, the whole thing about martial arts is self-defense. In theory, it's not about, making money beating some dude up, but that's basically what it is. It's like,
sure,
you really get paid, tons of bucks just to beat other people up, but then these guys go home and they take it out on their women. And
Eddie Bravo, unfortunately, is also one of those flat earthers. And it's just like, dude, how do you believe in flat earth when every planet that's out there is round? Like, what makes the earth flat? Like, I don't understand. Like, people who are still having arguments over geocentrism or heliocentrism, it's just like, come on, guys, really? So it's
but here's the thing. It's like, because I understand why he thinks the earth is flat, but he's still wrong. I mean, he's wrong. But the thing is, it's like, because in certain aspects of physics, in theory, it would be flat, because time is, in theory, flat, but it's not.
Time is linear, is what.
Well, but that's where they're wrong. I mean, I know this is just my theory, but I'm in the midst of proving it, because the thing is like this. I believe time is curved and in a sphere. And it's just because the only way this stuff is humanly possible, like the stuff in the Bible and all, it's because time is not linear. It's literally curved. It's in a curve because it has to be curved in order for a lot of these things to happen. Without a doubt, the theory of relativity and the anti-theory of relativity, when the opposite is true, about, okay, so energy is equal to the mass times the speed of light squared. Everybody knows that one. E equals mc squared.
Right.
But what is the mass that the E represents? See, now, the only way that thing is true, because in like the muon particle, in the muon particle, everything's accelerated, but time is slowing. As it approaches the speed of light, everything slows down, in theory.
Mm-hmm.
But how does that explain when the mass of something's moving at the speed of light squared? What is humanly possible to do that on this known universe? Nothing, except for, let's see if you follow what I was saying. Only thing I know, the only recorded thing in human history that can move that fast was actually God.
Yeah.
And if God equals energy, because the thing is like this, and I believe in the super elements, there has to be something called super elements that's controlling our gravity and our masses, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, long story short, that E equals mc squared is perfectly describes what God can move and how fast he can move. That's incredible, and that's the thing. And the inverse.
And when you approach the speed of light, matter becomes energy. Matter becomes non-corporeal.
But now remember, this energy is moving at the speed of light squared, which is 360 degrees squared. That's how many universes he has to travel, and time has to be curved, because time just doesn't go straight back and forth. It doesn't, because throughout human history, and this is like, and this helps me actually understand Genesis better. If time is curved, that's why the Tower of Babel was a precursor to Jesus' birth, because it's a repeating of time. It's, we're building something crazy to go up to the heavens, and boom, it gets destroyed. Why? Anyway, but that's not really what today's topic.
No, but that's
Eddie Bravo and that. Like, I get it, because most people think time is linear, but it's not.
Right.
And anyway, but
I didn't mean to derail it with flat earth. We'll get into flat earth another day, but ideally this relates to men and fighting and everything, because one thing I want to talk about today is the declining testosterone in men. This is a common thing that you'll hear on the internet. You'll hear the internet term soy boy, which is, basically an insult, right, towards a lot of these feminist men who are very, very emasculated, very feminine, not because of necessarily our culture, even though that's a big part of it. We feminize men like all crazy in our gynocentric society, but the consumption of soy. There's like if you go to San Francisco, you probably have heard of Soylent, right? And it's soy everything. It's like, there's
No, I never heard of it, but dude, I don't know anything about tofu.
Okay, well, ideally, this is something that some people have said in previous years where like there was a guy that I remember what he said. He was like, soy is making the kids gay. There's a trouble with soy because it's feminizing men. It's leading to enlarged breasts and just an inability to want to like be a man, basically, right? And how much of that is part of the progressive agenda to manipulate men into not making decisions, to stand up for themselves, to take care of women, and ultimately to give up their rights? And how much of that is tied into diet? Because soy is such a big substitute now for everything. You'll actually hear people in San Francisco, and this is what I want to talk about, who will scorn at you for eating meat, right? Just they don't like you when you eat meat, and they're always proponing for like tofu turkey as opposed to like real meat.
Turkey. Regular turkey.
So I mean, ideally there have been people that have talked about how the soy that's coming into our diets, I don't know if you want to talk about this as a conspiracy, is allowing for progressive and communist infiltration, indoctrination, and submission to their agenda.
Well, I mean, yeah. Because this is the thing. I get I get everything that you're saying, and okay, so in theory, and I have to believe this, but it's not even a theory. This is a fact. Everybody knows that soy turns into estrogen in the human body. That's how the human body produces estrogen, and
right.
And believe it or not, meat actually, like the reason why we're supposed to eat meat is because for mood stabilization. So when you eat meat, there's a lot of things that help stabilizes the mood. Like you get happy, blah, 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 blah. And those are the types of hormones that like beef can produce in the human body. So if you take away all of that mood stabilizing, I don't want to say nutrients, but like, and I don't want to break it down to like chemicals, but basically the chemicals that we are able to break down beef literally stabilizes your mood. It helps you, like if you are God, I hate to sound like a misogynistic pig, but let's say it like this. And this is pretty much, everybody knows this, like diet is so important when it comes to regulating mental health. So let's say you're a little, like you have a personality disorder. And so if you have a personality disorder and you're only eating soy, you will go batshit crazy.
Huh.
And why? Because think about this. Estrogen allows for the chemical changes in women. Like every month they go.
I like where you're going with this because I know what you're getting at, but continue.
No, but that's the whole point. That's what estrogen's for. Now, imagine, because I don't want, by no means, I'm trying to say that mental illness is the exact same thing or even similar to, the menstrual cycle, because it's not. It's totally different. But the role estrogen plays in mental illness and the variation of mood swings in a mentally ill person is pretty strong.
Right.
There is a lot of estrogen in mentally ill people. And because it allows for the mood swings that are necessary, for a woman to have a menstrual cycle. It's just how it is because, what's the function of a menstrual cycle? Why do they have to go through so many mood changes? Well, because in theory, when you're making another human being, you have to have that ability passed on. It's just how it goes. Like a baby needs tons of hormones.
Sure.
Whether it's male or female, you need all of those hormones to actually become pregnant. So that way there's an imprint. And, it's those moods are imprinted, those hormones are imprinted into that egg once, it becomes fertile. So anyway, mentally ill people kind of go through the same thing with the mood swings and stuff like that. Not similar, but there is, it's parallel. They're not the same. They're parallel, and it's craziness, madness. So estrogen, if you're feeding some dude who's mentally ill nothing but tofu and soy ice cream or whatever it is that people use soy for, their hands are going to be full with a bunch of craziness. But you give this dude like steaks and it has to be beef, because beef has a lot of mood stabilizing hormones in the meat.
Right, but do you think with what we're feeding our cows that has a big impact on how the chemical composition of the
I know, if they're feeding them soy milk, that'd be funny.
So, or they're feeding them corn. They're feeding them corn, in giant feedlots. That's just the truth of the matter. Don't get me wrong. I like corn-fed beef better than grass-fed beef. It just tastes better, because it's fatter.
I don't know I thought all beef was grass-fed, but yeah, if they're feeding.
To produce as much beef as the United States does. You've probably gone through Central California, right, and seen those big feedlots, they're all being fed corn. It's all corn. They don't get grass-fed. You got to go out of your way to certain ranches.
So that's okay. So in the Central Valley, it's literally called Harris Ranch, and I'm thinking, I
love Harris Ranch, dude. I usually stop there on the I-5, right?
Yeah,
dude, I stop there all the time.
But dude, there's no grass. I'm thinking you're right. There is no grass.
No grass. It's all corn.
Like poop. This is what it smells like when you drive down there. I'm not kidding you. With the counselor, we were driving down there the other day, and he was like, "Oh, we're at this place again," and I'm thinking, hey, you're right. There is no grass over there. Holy crap, they're feeding it corn. Oh, man, that's insane. But anyway, well, in theory, you want grass-fed corn.
No, that's true.
I just always thought, I thought they fed pigs with corn. Because
pigs will eat anything. Pigs will eat like nuts. Pigs will eat like grass. They'll eat.
So how does a cow eat corn?
They're not. See, here's the thing. This is where we get into like food and stuff, but cows are not biologically meant to really eat corn, but the way we do it is it fattens them up. That's why we when we give chickens feed and we give cows feed like corn and stuff, corn-based. That's why there's a lot of corn-based products.
Unique with this principle of with the hormones that are given to us.
So it's part of it. Like it fattens them up. They become unnaturally bigger and grow with fat content in ways where for us it's good to eat. Like they taste better. Corn, I will be honest, I've tried both. Corn tastes better than grass. It does. Like if you want the real taste of a cow, it's grass fed, but corn fed. But what I'm trying to say is that may or may not be a factor in sort of the feminization of men and just people in general, because estrogen. But strictly speaking here, just to take it back to declining testosterone in men, we've seen literally testosterone levels like milligrams per liter or whatever, like in men literally have, like men right now have the testosterone of 80-year-old men in the 40s. 80-year-old men, and declining test levels is normal when you get older, right? I know some guys who are in their 50s that are literally on TRT, like not because of steroids or anything, but it's just like got low testosterone. It's just how it is.
Well, see I'm still tripping about this corn, but the thing is, the reason why we have to erase soy from our diets is because of that. If what you're saying is everything is true, and I have to believe it's true, because I have seen commercials for ageless male, declining. We're not meant to be so soft. But the thing is, it's but that's what the commercial says.
Yeah,
men are soft, and I'm thinking, well, that dude is soft on the TV. But anyway, but here's the thing, and I do believe it is done on purpose because everybody knows what soy does. Everybody knows, and it's never been a secret. You're not supposed to eat it. That's why we're so anti-tofu. When tofu first came out, that was like the big thing. It's like, what, you're going to be a woman? And
unfortunately, in Asia, soy is consumed a lot, but I believe that it's not. But our food is also not processed the way American food is. That's why, Asians.
No, but think about this, and not to sound, but even Eddie Murphy had a joke about Asian men being all dainty on their toes. Because the soy. I agree. No, and that was like an old ass joke. And but that joke can never be told today. But the thing is, it's like, it's not a secret what soy does to people. Everybody knows it. But anyway, but the thing is like this. There is no way that the progressives who quote unquote love science, but perverted science, they socially engineered our society to accept soy as a very viable and natural and better way than consuming meat. Because it's, like Russell Brand, he's a famous vegan.
Yeah.
And he'll tell you too, the reason why he's a vegan, not because he hates the taste of meat, it's because of the nature of how we grow look, you're killing something. And I totally respect his point of view. It's like, yeah, like when you see how they slaughter something.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's just like, it bothers me. Even when I see, like, a lot of my friends hunt and like, it just bothers me to see something die. You know what I mean? It just does. And like, I totally get Russell Brand's point of view, because it's a valid point. Because dude, like, I don't want to know how these things die. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't want to know. So they use that aspect for social engineering and totally made it acceptable. And now look what happens. Because the thing is like this. Why would they do this? Seriously, like, just like, and you're making me think on the fly, but this is totally true. And I totally believe this. Progressivism has always been a racist ideology. So
Sure.
What happens when you lower this, testosterone in males? And no offense, but Asians have always had, like in males, Asian men had the lowest because they eat the most soy.
Right.
And this,
yeah,
and
that's
this
a fact.
is
That's a fact.
who eats the most meat? Black men. Black men have always eaten them. That's why they always have diabetes, and because
chicken.
Yeah, no, but it's the
I
truth.
just say that. I just had
No, but it's the truth. All that. No, but the thing of, like, what causes diabetes more than anything? Now I know it's like,
it's sugar, but it is sugar though.
No. But see, but everything breaks down into sugar. Think about this.
Yeah.
When you eat all that fatty beef, I didn't think. I thought all beef was. Oh man, like, this is blowing.
That's blowing your mind.
No, but now it's making sense. I'm thinking if they're feeding, I'm thinking that's right. Like, I drove through Harris Ranch, never thought about it. There's no grass, literally no. It's just like thousands of cows pooping everywhere with no grass. I'm thinking, holy crap, that's why the beef is so fat. That's why, like, I can't even eat the pork because I like something called like there's like for in.
You got dietary restrictions?
No. There's something called carnitas, right?
Oh yeah, that's pork fat. Yeah.
Well, no, but it's not supposed to be pork fat. But there's so much fat in the pork.
I know. Carnitas
Acceptable. Like in the old days, growing up, carnitas never had the fat. Never. It would unless you're broke, like the broke Mex, like got an.
Yeah, and you'd go and get pork rinds. You'd go and get like.
Yeah, no, but there's so much fat in the meat. But that's what breaks down into sugars in your body. All that fat is breaking down to sugars. Like I know blacks love Kool-Aid and crap like that.
Man, that's so.
I know, but they eat. Trust me, they eat a lot of sugar. But all that fat turning into sugar doesn't help either, because fatty meats has a lot of sugar in that meat. So. Yeah. Oh God. Now I know. Now it totally makes perfect sense why blacks are susceptible to. Even if they cut out the sugary drinks, they're still going to be fat and with diabetes because of all the fat meat that they eat. They don't eat lean meat. Like when I buy beef, I make sure it's like 97%.
80-20, buddy. Yeah, but
80-20 is too fat.
I know.
It has to be in the 97.
Did you know 80-20 beef is more fat per gram than protein? That tells you a lot.
Yeah,
because
but that's cheap, and blacks buy it because we don't got money, and it's the truth. It's like everything is socially designed for. I mean, because come on, they shouldn't be selling 80-20 meat. That shit should be illegal. Well, everything should be grass fed. Blah 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 blah. But anyway, let me go back to the point. The point is this: black men have always been the target of progressive ideology. Always. So what now? Now that we have, because look, the black group was the last group to accept gay people. It's just how it goes. And you know, like, and I bring Tim Hardaway Sr., you know, when he said something about gay people and all this other stuff. What's that the short comedian dude?
Danny DeVito?
No, the black guy.
Oh, Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart.
Yeah, Kevin Hart. When Kevin Hart was making gay jokes back in about if his son was gay, he know, and he was chastised for that. See, blacks are the last ones to accept gay people, and it's not that we didn't accept gay people. We just don't think. Look, I don't care who it is. Most black men over 30 are all gonna say it ain't right. It's just what we were taught to believe. We were taught, and we still are taught to believe. And it's not a belief. It's not right. It's just not right. But anyway, but now with the testosterone levels being so low, they have effeminized our men to the point where, again, blacks are not having children. They're not. The black death rate is now greater than the birth rate in our culture. And it's a black thing. Why? Because we're not educated. We're broke as hell. We eat soy. The men are like women, you know. And the thing is like this. There is something called, I'm not kidding you. Everybody has to Google this. But, okay, so abortion clinics, abortions for girls as young as 12 to 18 years old. In the black community, everybody, it's not a secret. They'll say, what about these girls who are young as 12 years old getting pregnant? They need Planned Parenthood, right? And everybody knows it, but wait a minute. I could hear a progressive in the background saying, but what about black infant health in San Francisco or Santa Clara County or in Oakland? That's such a thing. It's literally, it started in Santa Clara County. It's called Black Baby Infant Health. And it's this really bizarre program where the county goes to all people over the age of 18 and helps them out, gives them free everything, whether they need food or whatever. Everything is for free if you're over 18, and there's a reason for that. Because, and it's one, you have to be over 18. See, now, Black Baby Infant Health should be for the 12-year-olds getting pregnant. Because if you're 12 and you're getting pregnant, you need social services, right? But San Francisco, Santa Clara County was the first one to do this like 20, 30, 40 years ago. No, you know what? No, not that long. Maybe 20 years. It's been like 20, 25 years. Because, and then I'll say something. The person who's the director and in charge of this stuff, well, one of the people in charge, her SAT scores were well below 800. I'm just saying.
Out of what, 1,600 or 2,400?
Out of 1,600. She got an F on the SATs. And I know because I actually know her personally. Well, we went to school together, and that's why I know her SAT scores. But anyway, and I'm thinking your SAT scores are that low, and somehow, somewhat, you're running a program designed to kill black people or to keep them in check, because this is the program. The program is this: you got to be 18 years old, and you have to have, like, these nurses who go out there to the homes to check up on the black babies. They act as social workers because they go in there, they go and judge you and how you live. So if the boyfriend's acting out, they report it. If the girl is on crack, they report it. And the thing is like this, and those sound good on the surface, but the thing is, why in the hell are they targeting blacks? Why are they doing this? So they take away the babies, and every black person hears the horror stories about the nurses and the social workers associated with black baby infant health, and they are motivated to go ahead and get that abortion. Why? Because the program doesn't work. And the nurses working in these programs are scared to death of their clients, because the people who do benefit from this are real aggressive. And if they don't get their way, they'll beat the crap out of that nurse. They will, because it's a hustle.
I believe it. It's
now become a hustle, because some people don't care if social services say anything or do anything. Why? Because they'll beat their ass. And if the cops come, oh well, they're used to going to jail. So, and the thing is, well, how does this tie into men? Because the men are effing women. They're literally become women. They have been effeminized.
Yeah.
So they've been emasculated. They're walking around in dresses, wearing makeup and all, like, you know what I mean? Like with my voice.
Yeah.
Not that I have a woman's voice, but, you know, my voice used to be way deeper. But then, you know, I had that fight and, like, I had my forehead and nose shattered. And I've had a nasally voice ever since. You know what I mean? But it's like a woman's voice. Not that I sound like a woman, but
well,
you know,
I mean, this is all unsurprising when we tie everything back together. If the progressive ideology that we've been talking about for months now is based in racism, right? Does it really blow a lot of our listeners' minds now to find out that even down to your diet, what they're selling you is also designed to make you more emotional? Because that's what estrogen does, right? Makes you emotional. Indecision. Let's just be real here. If you're that emotional, you can't think straight. You can't make logical, sound decisions. And on top of that, the Black community specifically, because you brought it up, already functions like a matriarchal society. So when you got men acting like women.
No, but you know, the funny thing is, it's the matriarchal society in Black culture, and the women try to act like patriarchs. And that's why Blacks just beat the F out of their women. Not all of them, because I know like that one guy, he's going to say like, oh, we're stereotypes. But the thing is, generally speaking, a Black man will beat the crap out of his lady. Because why? The women literally are trying to act like men. Because
it goes back to what we talked about yesterday with that bus driver, Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah. Like, but like, and I don't want to be that guy because I'm not Black, right? I don't know how this goes on, but like my friends, like, it's just like that's how some Black women act. They act like men and they try to beat up on men and stuff, and it's just like, what do you think's gonna happen?
I remember this one chick in particular, and her whole get down was, my daddy never hit me. No, my mama never hit me. My daddy never hit me. And you're not going to hit me. I'm thinking, well, then don't get in my face and try to challenge me.
I could just see that. It's just like, well, my mama never hit me. My daddy didn't hit me. You sure as hell ain't going to hit me.
No, but
I shouldn't say that, but it's funny. Like,
no, but I know.
Whatever.
I can only see that one email, and you guys are racist and stereotyping. But the thing is,
I will make fun of Indians, Black people, Asians, white people. It don't matter. It's funny.
But this is the truth. Like, I ain't making stuff up. This is really what happens. This is literally the thing.
I'm gonna get called a racist. I'm not a racist. I'm not like, what do you?
No, but it's the thing is, it's stereotypes is not racism. It's a defense mechanism so we could protect ourselves against stupidity. and if people can't accept that, well, then shame on them. You know. But anyway, but the thing is, that's the truth. It's. Look, this whole soy crap is without a doubt very nefarious. And the whole thing is kind of like what Alex Jones said about those chemicals turning those frogs gay. It's not that the frogs were gay, but it's just through chemical manipulation, they're not going to want to reproduce. And the thing is like this, Black men at, under the age of 30 don't want to reproduce like their fathers used to, because seriously, in the old days, I mean, because look, I'm from the streets. I'm only speaking from a street perspective. There would be no white pimps, at least not in our neighborhoods. You can go to the Bay, you can go to LA, you will not see a white pimp. And if you did, you knew that dude was badass. It wasn't like, and the thing is like this. Why? Because Black men would collect women. It's just what we did. We'd collect them. It's just how it goes. I mean, were they disrespectful? Yeah, because look at the type of girls they'd go after. You know what I mean? And that's what. And those dudes were hard. They'd be all and like the thing is like a lot of people think like pimps were like couldn't fight, and hell no. There were a lot of these pimps were big, buffed, and just they could fight, and they just collected women because that was their way of making money. It was just, you know, and the thing is like, oh, pimps are the worst. No, they're not. The Johns are the worst. If you're somebody stupid enough to pay for a prostitute, you're the one. Not the pimps. The pimps is just taking advantage, just like the drug dealer. The drug dealer is not the worst. It's the users. The users are the ones, and they're the ones that, in a free market society or a free market economy, the market will set the demands. This is what they do. So anyway,
I love that. By the way, the word John always makes me laugh. 'Cause it's like, but it's true. It's a guy who uses a hooker, a guy who uses escort services. Call him a John.
no, but it's funny. These Johns are oh man, but it's crazy. And but you know, in theory, the Johns are the ones that probably use too much soy, because they couldn't get their own women, so they're like, oh, I'll pay some abused woman for it.
I mean, it's funny because one of these pickup coaches in the red pill community, in the manosphere, Alan Roger Curry, I don't know if you've heard of him, a black dude.
I've never heard of him, but go on.
But he predicted this kind of thing where soy and effeminate men will get to a point where either, number one, they engage in suicidal behavior, or number two, they engage in homicidal behavior, or both. And he's not wrong about that. He predicted that like 2 decades ago. And and I don't know if soy has a lot to do with it, but it goes back to death culture. It's like these guys aren't getting laid, so they're out shooting people. Like Elliot Roger type.
No, but it is true. Like, and that's why I think I've said that here. Like, sex is really, like, I don't want to say it's a violent act, but for men, it's not like this lovey-dovey thing that women think it is. It's just not. It's, you know, there's.
Well, here's the thing. Even though I'm against like premarital sex and all that kind of stuff, I will say this: historically, if you're like a teenager in school, it's like a rite of passage. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. There's peer pressure. You know, we live in a sex culture. They want you to be buying condoms. They want you to be knocking up your girlfriends. They want that child support from, like it's all tied together. So I get it. I get where men's frustrations are, but you have the pressure, and it's compounded with the fact that, I mean, people don't flat out care about men anymore. Men's rights, declining testosterone in men, and now we're feminizing men. It's like, it's all a pattern. You like, this is not a secret to anybody. But I'm like, that's the thing. I want to bring this to light because that racism that you talk about, right? It's pretty evident. I mean, you can see that. You can see traces of that. And then now in progressive cities, this is undeniable, by the way. Like, the reason why they're so vegan friendly is not just because they're giving people the option. Like, okay, if you want to go vegan for health reasons, dietary reasons, I get it. They will actually shut you down for being a meat eater. They will actually attack you for eating meat. It's like, get out of here. It's my choice. You want to be a vegetarian? You want to be a leaf eater? You want to be one of these herbivore men? Go right ahead. No one's stopping you. But like, I'm going to continue doing this. It's happening at that level too, is what I'm saying. People will protest you for eating meat in San Francisco, to the point where they have like all these soy vegetarian substitutes. Like,
Okay, but here's the thing. Like, because we're speaking about the increase of or the decrease of testosterone in men. Sure. What is the purpose of testosterone? It's supposed to make virile and super strong and aggressive. I mean, that's right. I mean, look, that's what we need, aggression. But here's the thing. Look at our athletes. Our athletes are not as strong as they used to be. Come on, when was the last time somebody broke? I mean, that one kid in Texas might be the exception, but like in track and field, no one's broken any records of significance. I mean, Americans, I should say, because that Usain Bolt, and I think this is like an American thing. I honestly don't think there's like these types of issues in other countries. Well, not in Europe. I guess in Europe it might be a trouble, but in the Middle East or in Latin America, no, the men are pretty much still masculine. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah.
But then again, like, I just don't know, you know, because
reverting to the traditional gender roles is going to play a part in the decision making that men make, because that's the thing. Like, some of these countries are still very, arguably, you could say, traditional, right? Your gender roles are your gender roles, and men.
Because but here's the thing. So obviously the United States is like the greatest country on the planet, but you know. And so when we say like countries like Mexico or whatever, you know, when the men are like old fashioned, they eat meat, they don't, trust me. There's nobody, I mean, they drink milk directly from the goat, you know what I mean? Down in like Latin America, it's just what they do. Yeah. So, you know,
they slaughter the pig and drain the blood right there.
You know, but see, and that's, I don't want to say that's like, oh, that's so masculine, but come on, these dudes, they're not. You know what I mean? But they keep their head down. They have a bunch of kids. They're always effing. But, you know, but again, there's negatives to that because they have sex with little girls too. Like, in our opinion, little girls like 13, 14-year-olds are off limits. But, you know, not in Mexico or Latin America. That's really standard. But anyway, but my thing is this.
You said that's okay. Like, that's standard.
No, well, because it is. It's just, it's their culture, and you know, that's what's a quinceañera. Oh, when a girl becomes of age at 15. Well, what's the difference between 15 and 18? Well, a lot. I mean, in theory, coming of age is really 21. You're not really an adult until you graduate college. You know, and if you're lucky, you don't go to college and you know how to make money at the age of 18. Or join the military. But that's right. For the most part, there is no way a 15-year-old kid is going to be an adult. It's just how it is. I was lucky because everybody goes, dude, you're homeless and on your own at 16. It's like, yeah, but I didn't know anything. It's not that it was scary and I was having fun, but that's not how children should live. It's just not. I still tripping out on how mature you are for your age. But anyway, because I'm thinking, man, oh man, when I was your age, I was still a kid. Like, my mind was still a kid. But anyway, so going back to this stuff with testosterone and like the lower levels. In other countries, they don't have those problems. I think this is unique in the United States and maybe in Europe and
Western countries, you know.
Well, or, you know, like Asian countries, not so much because, like, look, there's just not a lot of beef in Japan, which is why they got into all that freaky stuff. It's totally, like, I never thought about this, but now that I am, it's like, makes perfect sense. Why is Japanese, you know, men so hooked up on those sex robots? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of great engineering.
Herbivore men are what you're talking about. That's a real phenomenon in Japan. They're called herbivore men, where it's not just about their diets. They're checked out. They don't have sex with women.
Yeah, but I'm thinking
reproductive rates are at an all-time low.
Yeah, but look how crazy that is. And I never thought about it until just right now. It's like, holy, like, it makes perfect sense now. It's like, oh my God. When I really now want to do like the research on it, it's like, oh my man, but then it's not going to make me any money, so who cares? No, but it's the truth. It's like, I'm wired that way. If it ain't going to make me money, I really don't care. But
end up like Savage.
No,
well, he made no money for like the first 40 years of his life, you know.
Yeah, no. Great work, man. But I bet you, see, if man, it would be nice to talk to Savage about something like this, because I bet you he knows. Oh, yeah. I know he knows about this stuff. Oh, I know he does. And but anyway, so long story short, in this country, since we're depriving our men of this, they are all turning into women. So you have everything from, you know, like, if you ever notice this, look at how they turn a lot of masculine men and make them wear dresses in movies. You don't see a lot of black guys doing this. Like, you don't see the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He'll never put on a dress or wear makeup. He just won't do it. Yeah. And a lot of black guys won't do that. Like Denzel Washington, he won't.
Not a chance. Samuel L. Jackson, you ever gonna see that guy doing that?
Well, Jesus, no, but no, he was I think he might have walked in on somebody doing gay sex. But usually speaking, a lot of black men will not dress like a woman or put on makeup or do anything crazy like that. They won't feminize it because they know, everybody knows it's wrong. But then, a lot of white, big guys will do it. You know what I mean? Like they'll put on the dress or whatever and make themselves look like women or something like that. Sure. And it's just not, I don't know. I don't know why, because I don't know anybody really in Hollywood, but it's just, come on, that's just not what we do. But now I guarantee you will see a lot of Black people. See, because everybody was, what about Tyler Perry? And so, yeah, but he did it not because he was trying, he did it as as an example of what, I don't want to say what Black women should be like, but how your grandmother used to be in the old days. Just a crazy old woman who beat the crap out of you if you're acting wrong. So, and so that's different. It's yeah, I don't know. I mean, this whole topic is just so insane. It's like, wow, like I never thought about it. Never thought about this until just now. And it blows me away. Like you could totally see the destruction.
Yeah.
Of because here's the thing. What's worse? A pimp, with all these women like his stable, or a bunch of Black guys not taking care of their kids, and all these kids growing up the way they're growing up right now. You know what I mean? What's worse? And the thing is, it's like, no, believe it or not, everybody believes back in the old days is worse when like a pimp would take off a shoe and beat a woman. You know what I mean? They think that's worse than what's happening now, and all these people having kids out of wedlock. What's worse? I think today is worse than yesterday. And why? Why is this happening? Because of the lack of testosterone in men. And the thing is like this. It goes back to the suicide rates that you were talking about in gay people. Right now, the suicide rates in Blacks and Asians mirror normal society. But when Blacks become more gay, when Asians become more gay, like in the American way, those suicidal rates will also be in the 70 percentile, just like the white men. And that's the thing, because not getting meat out of your diet and replacing it with soy, without a doubt, just from whatever evidence you showed me today, it's clear that it's going to lead to suicide. Like it's going to add on to the suicidal behavior that the progressive leadership has always dreamt about. They always dreamt about having a society where everybody's suicidal, just like what the Mandarins did. The Mandarins got everybody high, and all this other stuff. They used opioids to do that.
And here's the thing too that I want to add on to that, right? Let's just even take it for the listeners who are paying attention to this, right? It's not just about the health aspect to it. With the declining testosterone, taking it out of your diet with soy. Here's the deal also. Fat people, obese people, flat out plain and simple, are composed more of estrogen than testosterone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, you can't work. Think about this for a second, Professor Drag, right? It's fatness, if you're obese, that's considered a recognized disability under the list of disabilities.
Yeah.
So if you're fat, now you can't work. What do you think that means? Collecting disability, welfare. You're a slave again to the system. So you know what I mean? It's like, it's all tied.
And for all the listeners who are going to say, look at Albert Ruiz Jr., no, that's the exception to the rule. Because a lot of fat people, you could be fat and healthy, like the Samoans and Tongans and Hawaiians, or like Albert Ruiz. But most fat people, for the most part, are not Samoan types, because they eat a lot of, fat in their diet and whatnot. Like they eat fat fruits and vegetables. They do. Yeah. There are, like, you could eat tons of avocado and
watermelon.
Yeah, no, not so much watermelon, but like coconut's fattening. Like you eat a lot of coconut, that's fat.
Yeah.
You eat avocado, that's fat. There's a lot of fat in avocado. There's a lot of fat in coconuts. And that's the thing. So, there's some people that just love coconuts, and that's why they're so fat. But
avocados.
Yeah, like Albert Ruiz. I bet you money he's eating them. They're called the pelotes or what? No, like the coconut. Because there's, dude, it's good. Like this coconut frozen milk thingy, and you eat that with pineapple. Because as you know that I'm Latin, right? I'm a black. Yeah. Well, yeah. So I'm a black Latino. I'm half black, half white. But there's, look, in Latin culture, we use a lot of coconuts. And so you're going to see a lot of fat dudes, just a lot of fat Latin dudes, because they eat a lot of meat, eat a lot of bread, eat a lot of that coconut. So, and they don't eat like tomatoes and what's that, kale? You know what I mean? There's no kale, everything is pretty much lettuce or something. You know what I mean? And that's what makes you fat. But those guys eat tons of meat. Like seriously, like we eat steak for breakfast. Like we eat beef 3 times a day. It's like for breakfast you eat steak. Like literally, like you like steak and eggs.
Right.
That's what you eat. And if you're broke, you eat chorizo, like the like some kind of pig intestine crap. And
which is
but
good
anyway,
too.
so
Yeah.
but that's the thing. It's like, come on, you're still fat, but you're big. Like the strongest men in the world, they're not like that dude that got knocked out by that fat dude. Anthony Joshua. He looked like when you look at him, you thought he was gonna just destroy Ruiz, and he did. He knocked him down like a couple of times, but Ruiz just kept fighting back, and he was a big fat boy, but he wasn't. See, because you could be fat, and then there's like the fat dudes like you see on TV, and because like a lot of fat dudes know how to fight, and you need that fat for strength. Right. You know what I mean? That's why, like, whenever I say a fat dude, I never underestimate him, because if he's walking and he can move like a normal person, that dude got strength because he's lugging around 300 pounds. Every day he's working out. You know what I mean? And I'm half his weight, and I'm thinking I got half his strength because my muscles aren't carrying around 300 pounds every day. And so in a fight, you really got to consider these types of things. But the problem is those guys have testosterone. They do, because the beef, the meat, that helps, and their moods are stable. And so, they know how to have heart and fight, and, make money, take care of their women. Because this is the thing, I get it. I understand what you guys are talking about, because here's the thing. I believe the lack of testosterone also puts it in people's head that they shouldn't be paying for dates. And I'm telling you now, the reason why we pay for dates is to show that we can provide.
That's right.
And that's because, but I get it. You don't want to be a sucker, because I know, because here's the thing. Most of these women who are not like these crazy radical feminists, I forgot, Rush Limbaugh calls them something.
Feminazis?
Yeah, there you go. I like that term. You know what I mean? Yeah. The feminazi types of chicks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those women. See, those women.
And they all look the same too. They all got like those thick rimmed glasses, weird hair. Sometimes they're
mustache,
and then mustache, tattoos, piercings. It's just like, come on, guys.
So, but anyway, but going back to this whole stuff. My point is this: these women that are gold diggers, come on, it's good to get over on them. You know what I mean? Because that's like, I get it. But then you have to be able to distinguish the difference between dating a classy woman, or even if she's not classy, even if you like her and you think you might, love her or whatever. But if you honestly love a person, then you should honestly pay for the dates and show that woman why.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's the only way to do it. But if you're just, as Tom Likas, I don't know anything about Tom Likas, but if he's a pickup artist, like those pickup artist types of dudes or whatever.
Nah, but he teaches people how to get men how to get women without
like
paying.
A pickup artist. So if he's a pickup artist, that's what he is. If he's teaching dudes how to pick up on women, then he's a pickup artist. But that's my point. If you're doing it like this, because we called it I hate to say it, but I'm going to curse, because we called it sport fucking. So if you're a sport fucker, then of course you're not going to pay for dates because it goes against the rules, because that's cheating. Like in sport fucking, you just try to manipulate somebody to get their pants down without using drugs, money, or any type of influence. You're just trying to show how good looking or how manly you are. Like, oh, I can get this chick. So anyway, so if you're doing that, I get it. But if you're not like doing it for sport, then you should be paying for dates, because, and even if it's not, and I hate to say this, but because I know it goes against what people think, and I don't want to sound like this old-fashioned like Christian dude, but there's a reason for it. There's a reason why men should open doors, and it's not just opening doors for like women. Like if you see somebody like a dude, like a construction worker, he's working, his hands are full, open the fucking door for him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
Just, it ain't gonna.
He needs a hand. He needs a hand. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with helping other people. So, and that's the thing, and not that women are more needy than men, but the thing is like this: women need to feel special. See, men don't. Men are, I don't want to say we're all sociopaths. I know I'm a sociopath, but I just believe that it's not even a belief. Look, all men have the potential to be really screwed up in the head. And I'll tell you what.
That's an understatement.
Well, it's genetics. So like women are XX. That's a woman. Perfectly genetically matched. So therefore, they're perfect human beings. But men are literally missing a lot of chromosomes. Like that Y, there's like a whole little section of genes that don't match perfectly in a man. They just don't. We don't match genetically perfectly the way women do.
Right.
So we have the potential for really messed up things. That's why most men are schizophrenic, or women. How many schizophrenic women are there? Not many. The bulk of all schizophrenics are men. Although women do suffer from personality disorders more than men, like
borderline and bipolar.
That's a woman thing, Most women, well, there's more women suffering from that than men. But anyway, because of this, men, we don't need to be special. We really don't. We could, like not most men. I think every man has that ability to go ahead and, as Kim Iverson says, live in the woods. And no, but seriously, every man has that ability. And if they ever tried it, they'd probably like it a lot. I'm not kidding you.
I would enjoy it. Part of me wants to try it. Some of these.
No, but men like that. I think men are the ones that invented camping. You don't see women, let's go camping. Why? They don't want that. That's why malls were invented, because women love them.
That's why malls are invented. You know what's funny? My dad said this one time, like this was like 2 decades ago, but it's hilarious. And that just reminded me. He said that, the reason why women don't like camp, like you said something about malls, right? That's why you have malls.
Yeah.
My dad said something a long time ago that was funny as hell. And he said something like, yeah, the reason why we don't live out in the woods is or we don't go camping with women is because they want to stay in hotels. Like he said something like that, and it's like that just triggered that thought, not that memory. And I was like, and he probably didn't mean it 100%, but he kind of like gets it. He's just like, men like to go out in the woods and camp. We don't mind sleeping in the dirt, sleeping in weird weather conditions. Like that's why. And he said something like, well, that's where hotels come into play. Women just want to stay in hotels all day. I'm like, man, that's funny.
No, but it's the truth. You know what? What's funny?
Men here's the thing. Men will sleep in their cars. Men will sleep in their cars, and they will sleep outside, and they will sleep in hammocks. They will, if it has to be done, men will sleep outside.
No, but there was you probably don't know this, but have you ever heard of the Brady Bunch?
Yeah. Oh, but I've never really watched it. So.
Yeah, there was an episode of the Brady Bunch where the boys and the girls went camping for the very first time, and then like the boys were against the women coming because they're girls, and then the girls brought a picnic and
Bless you. I heard the counselor.
I know.
That's funny.
She said sorry. I don't know if you heard that. I'm thinking
That's funny.
nobody cares. No, but okay. So anyway, so the premise of this Brady Bunch story was, the men were upset, or the boys were upset that the girls brought picnic like chicken and all this other stuff because the boys wanted to catch their own fish and catch their own food and stuff like that. But then they failed at it. And then, it's an interesting story, but it's like the Brady Bunch actually used to show real differences between men and or boys and girls.
Boys and girls,
and all of that, like those types of TV shows would never exist in today's society. It just wouldn't. Why? Because now,
man, just saying be a man is going to trigger some people. I'm going to treat you like a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but man.
No way.
Like, that's something you never say. Just be a man. Come, just be a man. Yeah, no. You can't say that. Are you kidding me? Something like that. Oh my God. No, like every once in a while you'll see that on TV in some kind of divorce court show. Like, you gotta be a man, step up and be a man. But that, you never hear that anymore. You just don't.
For sure. Hey, Professor Dreg, man, we got to make sure we keep the attention span of our audience. So you got any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No. This was because dude, like, this is something caught me off guard. And, I just but seriously, if anybody was to take anything away from what I was saying, the whole thing about testosterone, it's a real thing. It's I believe it's a part of social engineering, and it literally goes back to how the black death rate is greater than the birth rate, because our men are lacking testosterone. It's true. If everybody's eating this corn-fed beef and soy products and everything else, of course. It makes perfect sense. It's because it really does. It makes you question, how do we get here? It's the same thing. Like, if you go back, not that this is an extreme, but one of the greatest questions about World War II is, how did the entire country allow Hitler to become their chancellor? How did this even come about? Well, it's the same thing. How did we allow our society become what it is today in America?
Yeah.
Well, how? Well, through social engineering, through media, through diet, through all of these things has to work together, making our men dependent on the system. Instead of making our men dependent on themselves, what do? You make them dependent on the system. But if you want to make a man dependent, you have to make them into a very effeminate person. And somebody's going to say, well, are you saying women are dependent? No, women aren't dependent. But I hate to say this, but women in theory should depend on their husband. You know what I mean? For a lot of things, like, especially when it comes to security things, when it comes to protection and things like that, a woman should depend on their man for that. And I know we should live in a society when it's, because see, this is the thing. Gosh darn it. And I know the hour is almost up, but because like, I honestly don't understand Christianity. I really don't. But something tells me that we are supposed to live in a world where there is no violence, where there is none of this stuff. There isn't, right? But then at the same time, the carnal mind. So I always forget that rule about the carnal mind has no, God can't control that. So so we're always going to have to be this way. You know what I mean? Like, men will always have to be men, always have to protect women. But then at the same time, this is like a paradox. It really is. Like, this is a genuine paradox when Jesus wants everybody to turn the other cheek and teach people this and that. And in that sense, but you're always, even in that sense, you're always going to have to be strong. Like, you always have to, because a weak man, look, a weak man might do something bad. So you're always going to have you always have to be strong just in case a weak man does something crazy.
Sure.
And yeah, so based on that, because I don't want to contradict, because the thing is, everybody loves to contradict Christians and the science of Christianity. And the thing is, like, I forgot who this person was, but like Ben Shapiro was on some show recently debating somebody.
Yeah. And
he was talking about Judeo-Christian stuff. And the thing is like this: there is no such thing as Judeo-Christian.
Yeah, I've had to correct myself. Some people have said that to me.
Yeah, no, because it's the truth. It's like, and I'm, without knowing anything and being an atheist, I swear to God, when you read the Bible and you have understanding of like physics, like the way I do, there is no way that one, time is linear, and two, that story about the temple Tower of Babel,
mm-hmm.
that is a story about why Jesus needed to come. Seriously, mm-hmm. like that's literally like what's that Star Wars, to tie it into Star Wars?
A New Hope.
No, well, that's Star Wars. That's the first one, The New Hope. But the Phantom Menace, like the Tower of Babel's like the Phantom Menace. You know what I mean? It's like
Star Wars.
Yeah, but it's the truth. It's like that's what that story's about. That's about why Jesus needed to come, and that's all it is. And see, God, before Jesus came, God was like, you know what? I got to teach these people, but because the rate of speed that he's moving in and da-da-da-da-da, he was like, I got to figure out a better way. Yeah. So that's why he brought somebody from his realm and sent him down to earth, because it's the only way, because Moses lost his mind. No, but it's the truth. Like, because people are like, Moses didn't lose his mind. Well, Moses needed Aaron for a reason. It doesn't get into the why he needed Aaron specifically. Like, why did Moses need Aaron to do the speaking for him? Why couldn't Moses speak himself? Because Moses went up to a different thing, and he experienced the inverse of the theory of relativity, mm-hmm. Backwards of it. So anyway, so long story short, I don't want people, like, if somebody really wanted to debate me on why I believe the Bible's real scientifically, I'd destroy them. I would destroy them in a debate. So I don't want, but because I don't know the philosophies of Jesus and stuff like that, but I'm almost certain I figured out the economic benefits of Christianity versus anything else, mm-hmm. Because that's why it works. Because a free market, the way Christians are taught, that's the only way you could ever get whatever, that's the only way to ever become rich and raise an entire society. The United States was risen and surpassed every other country that's been in existence for thousands of years before the United States. The United States was only like 100 years old when it surpassed every other country. And that's when it freed the slaves. You know what I mean? In 1876, the country became 1 year old. And in 1876, it became the greatest economic power the world's ever seen. And that was through Christianity and the Christian economy. Well, and that's why I'm studying this so much. Well, I'm not studying it, but I should. But because I'm still trying to figure out the math of Genesis and Exodus. It's just insane. Like, those stories are insane, but it's a roadmap to great things if we studied it. But we don't study it, so we're not going to learn anything. But going back to men and testosterone, that's the thing. We have to put back this testosterone so we can go back to our, I don't want to say 1876 roots, but we have to go back to those roots where men were men, women were women, and we were all living peacefully together. Black, white, Asian. Well, not so much Asians, because Asians were living on the West Coast and they were being destroyed. But in the East Coast, if you were living in the East Coast in the 1870s, you were living a good life. You mm-hmm. just were. And not so much in California, because, it was California.
Cool. Yeah.
But either way, so yeah, those are my final thoughts.
That makes sense. And guys, yeah, absolutely. declining testosterone, men's right. Those are things we're going to dive into further always on the show, but stay tuned, guys, because we've got big plans for this show. Thank you for tuning in for 40 plus episodes, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.